Okay, guys, let's do a quick rundown of what could have, should have, around approximately gone down on the start of the Operation Rising Lion. I'm just doing a hypothetical reenactment here, as I would call it, based on command and the latest beta version. This is a software that many people will not be familiar with. It's available to civilians, but it's also used in the military. And it's basically simulating things regarding war. What we're seeing here is the setup that I made from the Israeli side, seeing what Israel sees. So this is important to know. What you see here as a visual representation is your sensor perception. So it's not the reality, it's what your sensors pick up. And the same goes for the other side, right? So as you can see, there are certain things here, like this mobile vehicle that has this bracket around it. That means that our sensors know it's there, but it's somewhere in that bracket. And that's just important to know. And also, the colors mean classification, so that's unknown if it's hostile and whatnot. The little dotted lines are hostile radars. White is R2 air radar, and yellow is ground radar. So we're seeing the various radar ranges here, including, for example, friendly satellites. I just added a few here with ground-based or space-based ground radar. Quite popular in the intelligence community. Now, this is not complete. This is not supposed to be the reality because it's insanely complex. And this is already very complex. So what I've done to stop having to worry about aviation and fuel logistical planning, which I would have to do, and it's a chore just for single units and not 200 planes flying, I decided to give the Israelis a spawn base here somewhere so that the fuel logistics are not a problem for me as a person because it's just a waste of time. And that's basically why we have these spawn bases here. Because all the fuel planning for so many planes is insanely complicated. The game will not do it automatically well. So I'm just going with this. The other thing that we have to look at is that I'm running this scenario here in an editor mode. That's for two reasons. One is that I've pre-positioned spies around facilities, as you can see here. And these spies have, I've gave them, some of them have thermals, these don't. They have a SATCOM, so they can communicate. But the most important thing, they can have weapons. And I used to have a mission set up for them that was supposed to trigger at the time, but it didn't work. So what I will do in a second, I will give them weapons while we go along. And I will basically just give them, I'll show you here, the spike end loss that is confirmed to have been used in the conflict. And I will do that just before the 0 hour, so they shoot at the right time. And that's one reason why we're using the editor. The other reason is that it allows me to show you the other side, because I can switch sides and I can also pretend to be God. So here you can see this is the Iranian view. They don't see the spies because they're not very good to see. They would have to have ground units there next to them, and they don't, because as we've seen, they've been very good at hanging out somewhere in the desert. So with this context out of the way, not going into much detail on command. And the last thing that I want to show you is there is the group function. You will see it here. Let's just go to the Kermanshah SSM complex. You can see it here, and that actually says it's a group of 55 units. Right, and when we enter the normal view, we can see all the individual bunkers that are modeled correctly here. And I will actually go over to the Google Maps view, and we can actually take a look at the real facility, and we will see that this is very similar in setup to this one here. And this is just so it looks a bit bizarre. This is a low resolution map for performance. We can do more high resolution maps here, as you can see. And we can also add a real topographical map that is very, very accurate globally. And you can see this is also some sort of military facility. But as we all don't speak Persian, or most of us at least, we'll just leave it to a satellite view. And this map is actually fantastic for doing detailed stuff, but it's also extremely horrible because it's white and most of the writing is in white. And then it switches to the opposite, like a topographical interface. So I don't like it. We're not going to do that. Now, with that said, let me switch back to a high performance map, switch back to Israel, and kick things off. And as you can see, I'll kick things off, and then you have the ability to manipulate time, and we will actually go to the fastest speed directly. And let's see what happens. Some of this is approximated, most of it actually. So let's just see how it goes. So it can take some time. It's a very, very compute intense thing to run what we're doing here. So enjoy. We're seeing here the RQ-170. This is not a unit that the Israelis have. I just put these two here because we figured that the Israelis have some sort of stealth drone capability. I don't know what kind of drone capability they have, so I just used the RQ-170 as a placeholder. We can see they're equipped with FLIR, with a signals intelligence package, and a surface search radar. We don't use it here because we want them to be stealthy. And I decided to not give the Israeli package an RQ-180 super spy drone, so to say. So let's just see how it goes. I've just basically, as this is an editor, you can just manually smack units there, and you can just put whatever you want there. So you can put a Global Hawk here, as you can see. Give it the recon package and have it fly around. This is also why the editor is quite useful, because it allows me to adjust things. But as we don't want it, we just delete it. And that's basically the setup for today. As we can see, the missions are underway. I've tried to simulate them according to the times that were leaked out, and then in retrospect regarding the time. So the 0 hour of the actual strike was 0 a.m. 0300 a.m. Local time. So that's exactly what the strikes here are tailored to commence. Basically, now we can see there's some sort of GPS jammer that the Iranians have here, and that GPS jammer is being located by something. I'm not entirely sure why it doesn't pick up these things here properly. Let's do it like this. Okay, so we have a signal from intelligence satellite here, NROL 67. That is picking this up from like 2000 nautical miles. And we assume by this, as you can figure, that the Americans are doing intelligence sharing to a certain degree with the Israelis, and that's how it's set up. You can actually see these satellites out here, very, very far up in space.
Negative radar contact. Procedural control only. Maintain all separation.
All right, that was some lies here. We have the first units that are launching. The first unit that launched is this Stream. This is an Israeli airborne early warning system. And the reason I launched here because I put some of the units in spawn bases back further. And he will fly to this track here. That's his mission. Early warning mission from Israel. And it's timed so that it will arrive approximately when the 0 hour commences, a bit around that, tailored a bit to not give away to the Iranians too much. And let's see what happens. She could also absolutely fail. As I said, I'm not going to speculate here on things that are unknown, and I'm just letting it run. And
procedural control only. Maintain all separation.
We now have the first real missions that launch.
Negative radar contact. Procedural control only. Maintain all separation.
And this first mission that launches here is a group of a bunch of F-35s along this mission path here, going over towards, I'll actually add the place names. Well, where are they? Place names. So these are basically launching here to be able to attack the Natanz electricity supplies that we have seen on satellite intelligence have been attacked. We can see here there is this electrical station, backup gas generator, entrance building, power support buildings. So some of them were hit. It's known what was hit, and these flat planes are scheduled to hit the same things. Then we see some other planes here.
Tactical. Buster 2, negative radar contact, procedural control only, maintain all.
These are combat air patrol missions, and I'll be honest with you. That's a failure on my part. I'm going to move them back a bit. They launched a bit too early, so I'm not going to delete them or cancel them. I'm just making them turn back a bit so that their arrival is a bit delayed. Same with this here. This is an F-35 package that is doing suppression and the destruction of enemy air defense.
Negative radar contact, procedural control only, maintain all separation.
And another mission launched. That's an F-35 mission that is designed to destroy an early warning radar up here in Tabriz. And as you can see here from the dotted line, that's its approximate range. And this is what we're doing here. And this also needs to go back. Sorry, guys. More flight back. And let's actually look at the current situation and turn over to the Iranian side. And the Iranians have noticed a bogey here. I was not aware that the RQ-180 have such a RQ-170 have such a bad stealth that they are being detected already. But let's just move them around a bit, because we have to assume that the Israelis know the stealth and detection radiuses of these systems. And actually, when I think about that, the RQ-180, RQ-170 is an old drone. So yeah, mistake on my part, because we know the Israelis have drones that can fly undetected in Iranian airspace, more or less, at least under consideration of Iranian defense. Now we are already here. This is good enough separation from the missions. Maybe not the F-35-15s, but the F-35s can turn back now. And here is the second support aircraft. That's an Israeli signal to intelligence aircraft. Now, as you can see, we're already close to the real scenario or the real engagement. And what we're going to do now, switch back to the Iranians, see what they can observe and what they cannot observe. So we can see here there is a resonance array that is detecting some Israeli aircraft. And I'm not entirely sure on the timing, but we will do approximately 15 minutes before the 0 hour. That was supposed to be the second when the enrichment facilities get hit and certain other targets get hit. We will take out these radar systems with the spikes. Let's just give it 3 more minutes, then we pause, and then we'll see what we're going to do. We don't have information on the timing on these strikes, so we're just going by, by guesstimation. These are, we presume that they're active. It could have been that they're not active and taken out. We don't have information. But either way, the Israelis took out what was there and what was threatening the Air Force. So we will just do the same and supply these spies here with the required weapons. And that were also the ones used in the actual strike. That's the spike and loss, which I think stands for no line of sight. So they can basically be shot in a rather distinctive, lofted manner, a bit like an FPV drone, but with an anti-tank gun, anti-tank missile. And we just give these guys here too. There's another spy team here at near the Ahad nuclear research site. Well, let's give those bunch of ATGMs of what? And the spy here. The spy here. And we know that these are at least close to the systems used because some were shown on social media and recovered. Well, let's see if they kick it off properly. We will see that. Let's actually go to the Iranian view and just click go. Now we have good radar coverage from these advanced radars that I gave the Iranians here, who were supposedly taken out in the last conflict, but we still gave it to them. I need to give them shooting instructions, not so sure. Let's just turn to take it out, see what happens. Yeah. There we go. So they just start shooting these weapons here on that radar site. And I suppose we will just tell the other ones to do the same. So that the mission planning for the... Oh no, okay, my bad. They were actually executing the mission already, as you can see from the sites that I did not instruct manually. So let's go to the Iranian side, and yeah, okay. The Iranians on site, of course, see that there's something going on. And we can see the Iranian radar coverage here. These large white loads. And we see as the Iranian CO, so to say, how things are just disappearing. Lobe gone. Shots fired from the Iranian side. Let's not look at it. Let's look at the big radar picture and how the Iranian radar picture is massively shrinking. The important part is that with these radar systems taken out, we are seeing another important pattern here. We're seeing that the planes and also the drones that were previously spotted are no longer spotted, at least down here. They were last spotted before they were destroyed. So as I said, we're not sure about the timing on this, or if the Iranians actually had these radars. But as you can see here, as soon as these specific radars are no longer there, the generic 70s, 80s, 90s Soviet radar systems that the Iranians have are no longer properly able to pick up anything of the stuff going around. As you can see, most of these items here, okay, this is back on a radar. Some Great Wall radar figured this out, good. But they're not able to give a target track on the F-35s here. This is really what the Israelis care about, right? Now let's just continue to accelerate the time from the Iranian side for a bit. As you can see, there is still some shooting going on. I think they're shooting some air defense unit at Natanz, which is, I think, precisely what happened also in reality. There's plenty of footage of, so to say, this thermal views on spikes hitting some AD systems. And if we do something now that we can do as the, so to say, God or mission editor, we can actually show the reality. This is what the Iranians see. this is the reality. There's the spies on side. And as you can see here, this was something that we haven't noticed. There are actually quite a few Israeli air-launched ballistic missiles, the Golden Horizon or Blue Sparrows incoming, that are targeting various other radar systems across Iran. And if we switch back to Iran, they don't see, these are old tracks that they picked up once when the radars were still there. And they don't know. I will switch back and forth between the God's eye view and the Iranian view. And as you can see, it's not much that they pick up. These old tracks are all about to disappear because their probability wings, as we can see, are too big. And so basically there's an F-35 strike package right here. And the Iranians just don't know about it. And if I scroll as well again, you can see they're actually here over East Iran, picking up these barrier radars and some other radars, and nothing has picked them up yet because they lack the capabilities after these spy attacks. So as you can see, some are about to hit. Let's just leave it like that and see what happens. Yeah, we just get a message that our radars are destroyed. Oh yeah, oops. And it's, when you look at the reality, this seems to have been similar to what happened in real time. They were just, we lost connection or contact or whatever to that site. Then it's just, these sites just disappear. And you see the same thing down here in the south. Just things blowing up. And some contacts run from vampires with the south. These are actually small diameter bonds incoming to this Tabriz radar up here. Then, but the Iranians, yeah, this is basically the warning signs that they had. Up here you can see the time. So there's apparently, as you can see here, there's 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Well, it seems to be some time zone change here. That's a very large AO, so that's not unexpected. And there we see, that's actually paused. Switch to 1 time. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go closer to the Natanz facility and turn on the topo map that shows the layout of the facility. And I'm going to turn on the God's eye view, so we see what happens and not what the Iranians, who are blind as a mole, perceive. They don't perceive much, as we know, at this stage already. So we can see here these small diameter bombs coming in to various targets on site. And there's more. So they're saturating the targets here in this scenario. Who knows how they did in reality, but and this is the real life speed. Now let's try something I haven't done for some time here. Let's turn on the 3D view. I hope it captures it well. Oh yeah, that's good. Let's start so we can see the first chat. So yeah, these are, we don't see much here. This is the 3D view of the whole scenario. It might look fancy, but it's actually way less informative than this one here. And here we can see the full log of what's happening. I haven't shown that so far, but it basically shows what's going on and how things are happening here. So we can see this here is basically destroyed. Yeah. And the same with the other ones. I'm using SDBs here. I could have used spice bombs. It didn't really matter. And now we're seeing the message of the Tabriz radar. This is the radar up in the north. We can actually see very nicely. This is a military fusion zone here, and there was the radar on top of the mountain here. And it needs to load these tiles as well. I normally don't have this topo map up all the time. Well, let's turn it off again. And let's just resume and actually switch back to Israel because a lot of things must have developed there in the meantime. And let's actually turn off the guard view. Let's just continue. The Israelis know what's happening. They're hitting high fives all across the place. And as you can see here, it's a very complex picture developing. I know I didn't plan this except a few missions manually.
Negative radar contact.
As we know, that Israeli force took out Hamadan Air Base and from other sites like these large storage sites at Kermanshah and also here at Kham Mabad. We're going to have various strike packages on these huge, as we've seen here, huge bunker complexes that are storing these massive amounts of surface-to-surface missiles, ballistic missiles. Or if you want to listen to the propagandists, the hypersonics. Everything is hypersonic because it sounds so good. And this is massive here. You can see this, a huge place. Bunker. All of this, that you just see the entrance portal from pavement, and there, this is the bunker facility. And they've built them also seemingly in a very simple way. They basically built the stuff that they want to protect here, like an internal concrete facility, and then put a lot of earth from the other area around it, over it. Seems to be quite the rapid way to build a lot of bunkers. And you can see how massive these sites are. And now this is the last strike on the nuclear facility here in Natanz. And the purpose of this was, as far as we know, to basically destroy all the support equipment and electrical equipment, electrical connectivity, and backup power, so that the turbines in there would be destroyed by having to shut down ungracefully. Now let's go back to full speed. Apologies that this is slow. As you can see up here, it's the time we're basically beating real time, simply because it's such a huge scenario. As you can see, with like 1,812 units involved. This is I think a 12 or 16 core CPU with a decent GPU SSD, and it's still crawling because it simulates the sensors all over the place, and it also needs to correlate the sensors to the emission profile of this thing. And it's just awfully complex. I'm sure the command people can shed more light on why the software is so bad in performance. Now for these videos, I enabled the fact that you can read what's there next to the units. All of these units here, as you can see, are group views, so you have flights of planes, not individual planes here. Now we have static with offensive electronic warfare, and we have Sauron with the early warning radar covering most of Iran already, and we do have some tankers coming up in the back. And we can already see here, this one here that took out the Tabriz radar, and still carried home 12 SDBs. I think that was overkill. And these guys here that destroyed the Natanz facility, they're already leaving Iran again, so we're really good here. And we can also see that there is an F-35 trying to refuel already. Probably that's one of the deep missions where I messed up the timing. And yeah, it needs fuel because it's just same with the combat patrol missions. They will actually refuel now, as you can see here, as a Risco and Hoser mission. And these are Iranian 707s providing aerial refueling capabilities. Let's see how that goes. As you can see, they will drop down and just refill. Let's switch to the tanker. That touched it quite too high for refueling, but I'm sure it doesn't simulate it well, but we have to live with that. And we see there's a refueling queue, and they will probably may run to the tanker. And now we'll see. That's actually got to the F-35 view, and one is really low. One must have loved the afterburner too much. Let's see how it's closing into the tanker. For some reason, he is not getting to the tanker. Fantastic. Let's reduce the pod rate. That sometimes helps the simulation. And also maybe give them some help. It's interesting that all these cat missions that I've misplanned already have issues with the fuel. And this is why I said it doesn't plan fuel well for application. And manual fuel planning, it's easy, but it's a lot of work. So that's why I had the early spawns, and apparently the Israelis didn't lose any planes to fuel issues, so whatever happens in that regard is my fault. Now let's go back to full speed. Let's actually see what happens with these here. Why he's not taking fuel. A typical show effect, I guess. Let's actually divert this one just for a second to allow these guys to obviously not wanting to move at all. They call this the show effect, right? So let's just unassign him from his mission that he's so keen to fulfill. And give these guys some time to refill. Jeez. This guy. Okay, so they're on the tank right now. So he's on the tanker, as we can see. So inadvertently, this turned into, oh look, let's do fuel management, just like with the previous with the real mission, where fuel planning certainly was also a big factor. But here, it's I think more engine related. Why these guys are not doing what best should do, and we actually need to have these planes working well. So I told him to refuel on this one, and on what to do that. Well, so that's to put those back into the mission that he was tasked with. And the first ones are back landing already, as we can see. Very successful mission. Well, now we need to make a break here. 1 second, something is happening. Well, there's a surface to air missile that was detected out of Hamadan, somebody, probably just shooting hectically into the air. Let's actually look at the real picture. So that has two missile launches at fighter 1757. That should be 1757. Should be one of these ones here. Oh, where do we see it? Let's just let it run and see what happens. And let's actually turn back to the sensor view. And the guys down here finally get their fuel. Well, that's good. And let's see what happens here. It was actually planned that the units that are refueling now were supposed to provide air cover here. That's not happening, and the Iranians launch something, or probably have to wing it, so to say. So he is now refueling 2 F-15s. Let's switch to those. They're getting fuel, they're getting the external tanks filled up. And the F-35s are surely before bingo fuel, but they'll figure it out. And we can see here, there are actually 2 SAMs on these F-15s that are defending successfully. Let's actually see if they have offensive ECM. They probably don't. And this is a strike package. Now it's getting interesting. Iranian fighters, I will manually just declare them hostile because I'm sure the Israelis were not planning to worry about the use. But what I don't like is that this is not happening. Let's make a pause here, because the air cover that we had planned for, as you see, as we have seen, was busy doing something else. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to turn the radars on of these F-15s, and we will manually send a hammer. Why doesn't it shoot it? What's that limit? That's fine. You should be able to at least. Okay, let's just run it. I'm not sure why it doesn't work. CMO, the most bugged software on the planet sometimes. I'm just showing you these effects here. It kind of underlines what Israel has done, right? There are so many little things that need to work out timing-wise, and also fuel planning and everything-wise, right? So, as you can see, there was a bit of a fuel thing, and immediately there are issues from me on my mission planning. There's the escort for the Hamadan strike taking over now. We can see these F-15s now checking out what appears to be a scramble of F-4 Phantoms out of Hamadan. But this is the important part. That mission will probably have to be aborted because they will be out of fuel, because they're heavy with bombs, and they had to turn around. Probably can see that there's a F-15 here shot something out, say it's like what blocking engagement, defensive counter-air, where he shot missiles at a very long range, just to make the Phantoms either die or have to put in defensive maneuvers that would drive them away from these F-15s, and this is exactly what's going on. Now you can see here, we already killed the first 31st Tactical Fighter Squadron Phantom. And there will probably be more to come, but the missiles will probably also run out of energy as they are trying to get away.
And go ahead,
And they have plenty of AMRAAMs left, so they are just making sure that everyone has to worry about one incoming AMRAAM.
And go ahead, And go ahead,
The way that this happened is planning out is, I think, quite interesting, because these F4s just took off, but they will burn a lot of fuel trying to evade the AMRAAMs. And it's very mountainous terrain, so as you can see, they are going down low with full power. They will basically have no fuel after a very, very short time, maybe less than 10 minutes. And the incoming strike package here, these are F-16 Sulfas. They already shot their a huge amount of small diameter bombs to take care of these guys. And the same is happening almost simultaneously all over Iran right now. We can see here there are some units, also Sulfas, shooting Delilah, which is like a tiny or small cruise missile at a different outfield. So we're really seeing all this synchronized engagement all over the place, which makes this also quite an interesting scenario, because we're seeing huge amounts of activities all over the place at the same time. And if we just quickly circle back to the Iranian picture, it pretty much looks like, oh, everything is blowing up and a lot of unknown things happen. And the Iranians are, of course, in regards to rules of engagement, they are free to engage bogey tracks, so orange tracks, and have to have confirmation that it's a hostile, because they just assume that everyone is a hostile at this place, at this point. And there we go, switching back to this where it is, and we can see how quite lucky, which is the Israeli, let's say, escort for the strike package is chasing down those Phantoms. And I think they don't actually have enough AMRAAMs to shoot down all of them. But the other escorts will probably take care of that. And they will also likely be out of fuel, so interesting to see. So another one down. And you can see here, there's also something that we have not seen, HARMS. So HARM is the homing anti-radar missile that has been shot by some other escorts. So there's also the suppression of enemy air defense escorts in this strike package here, and they have shot at this SA-5 station here. And we will see all of this down here in the link. Let's see what these guys do. They're probably engaging these new Phantoms as well. Now, as we've seen that we don't have enough fighters, because parts of our fighters were sent too early, as I told you before. The Iranians actually have caught 2 Eagles without AMRAAMs, so they're chasing them down. I don't think that happened in real life. Let's just go with it. We see a different one here. These 2 Phantoms trailers that also came from Hamadan seem to have now found the combat patrol that is also here now active, refueled just a minute ago. And we're seeing a massive amount of destruction here. From all the pop-ups, we can't really see anything. And the cannon shot side. And we can see the amount of impacts here in the log. And we can also hear some of them. And the same is happening at the other side, all simultaneously. And the reports indicated that these attacks were rather well synchronized. Netanyahu himself said it, right? Most of the attacks had to be timed on the second. And the same will happen here with this airfield from these phantoms. As you can see here, let me just switch to the other map. Okay, so we hear that Pythons are falling out. So the Israelis are, as they don't have MRAMs left, they're using their Pythons to attack these phantoms. That's interesting. As I said, it wouldn't happen in reality because they would be better with their field planning than I was, and also not have whatever reason run the crutcher times. That's what happened here. And this is not, I'm not a YouTuber, this is not YouTube fancy scripted, I'm just winging it. Well, you can see here the impact on Hamada. We have simulated most of the air shelters and ammo bunkers. And we have allocated ordnance for all of them. This is a massive strike. Just turned off the data blocks so that we see what who is, so that you can see better the effects and the individual units and not just the blocks of our text. So you can see that all of these units have received significant impacts. Data blocks, let's switch it to names only. You can see it's a bit laggy right now, but that's because so much is being simulated. And you can see there are more and more things incoming. And we see more attacks from these guys here, while our eagles here have somehow an epic dogfight with his Iranians. That's actually hilarious. Let me switch to the Iranian side and see what they have left. If they're also just guns now at this stage. So they have been actually hit, as we can see here. One of them has been hit. And what is this damage? Well, just a radar and an engine. An engine is damaged, but still operational. Have these eagles going in for the kill. That's very interesting. I didn't expect to have for a real air battle here with short range and even guns. But that's what we got. So let's see. And these eagles also want to convince us that that's not going to happen because they just started shooting AMRAAMs here, which is kind of the expected destination where the missile and this guy will merge. But as he has the radar on, he will just continue to guide the missile. So I'm not sure if that's best practice, the confliction to shoot an AMRAAM at someone who is chasing someone, or who is being chased by a friendly. But I'll leave that to the fighter pilot experts. Now we can see something while we were looking at all these details, that in the bigger picture, most of the Israeli strike packages are returning. Well, let's do something. Let's look at the losses and expenditures. So the Iranian losses, a lot of radars and the shelters, 5 F-4 Phantoms at this stage, a bunch of radars, some sharp PEO, so transporter erector launcher. So they have lost a lot of stuff. And all these, so to say, ammo shelters and bunkers, they were not here listed as losses because they were just,
And go ahead,
so to
sir.
say, hit for effect, but they were not as a structure annihilated, right? It just came in, destroyed it, and they received the Israeli expenditures. Quite significant, but actually I don't think it's so unrealistic to see that they've used about a couple hundred precision-guided bombs on a strike package with many aircraft, right? We have some strike packages here with 20 planes incoming, especially on these large ammunition depots. And we still now have, or we're flying here, another strike package that is going to hit targets around Tehran. So let's see how these things play out. But I think that was still quite an interesting overview on how such engagements play out. And as you can see, most of the fire for effect is there. What is not there is these cruise missiles hitting down the airport down here. But I think, just as an initial overview, this was quite interesting. So let me know if you like it or not. What can be adjusted? It's the first time I'm doing such a footage on command. And I think that we should maybe further with is that one of the F-15s just gunned down one of the Iranian Phantoms. So no dead Tomcats yet here in the video, because of course that will be a second attack wave. And yeah, let me know.
Charge
Like,
complete.
comment, subscribe.